It is the afternoon of June 29th, 1995, in Seoul, South Korea. The Sampoong Department Store is packed, an upscale, gleaming symbol of the country's new wealth, full of shoppers and staff on a warm summer day. Then comes a low rumble from somewhere above. Cracks race across a ceiling, and in about 20 seconds, the entire north wing of the building collapses straight down into its own basement, floor pancaking onto floor, burying everyone inside. More than 500 people die. It is the worst peacetime disaster in modern South Korean history. But here is what makes Sampoong almost unbearable to study. The building had been warning everyone for months that this was coming. The cracks were visible, the sounds were audible, and the people in charge kept the doors open anyway, right up to the final morning, because every decision in this chain was made for the same reason: money. Seoul in the early 1990s was booming. The Sampoong Department Store was a jewel of that boom. Premium brands, heavy foot traffic, owned by the Sampoong Group and its chairman, Lee Jun. From the outside, it looked solid and modern. But beneath the marble and the escalators, the building was the product of a series of changes, each one made to extract a little more profit from the same patch of ground, and each one quietly weakening the structure that held everyone up. The first link came before the store ever opened. The building had originally been designed and permitted as a 4-story office and residential block. During construction, the owner decided to convert it into a department store. A department store is not an office building. It carries heavier loads, and it wants wide, open sales floors uninterrupted by columns. Changing the purpose mid-build meant the structure was now being asked to do a fundamentally different and heavier job than it was engineered for. The foundation of the disaster was poured before the first customer walked in. To create those open retail floors and to fit escalators, support columns were narrowed and some structural elements removed or reduced. The original construction company reportedly refused to make some of these dangerous changes, so it was dismissed, and the owner's own construction company finished the job. Think about that. When the experts said no, you can't remove that support, the answer was not to listen. It was to find someone who would say yes. The load-bearing core of the building was compromised to make room for shoppers and escalators. The second link. The building was meant to be 4 stories. The owner added a 5th to house restaurants. Restaurants are heavy, and Korean restaurants of the era used audible underfloor heating. Thick concrete beds with hot water piping running through them, enormously heavy. All of that dead weight was now sitting on top of columns that had already been thinned, on a building never designed to carry a 5th floor at all. Each new floor of profit pressed down on a structure with less and less to give. The third link. On the roof sat 3 massive air conditioning units, heavy machinery perched directly above the most overloaded part of the building. When the unit's noise and vibration drew complaints from a neighboring property, the response was not to carefully crane them off and relocate them. To save money, crews dragged the heavy units across the rooftop slab. Dragging them cracked the slab. Now there were fractures running through the very roof structure sitting above the weakened columns and the overloaded 5th floor. The building had been wounded in exactly the wrong place. The fourth link. This is the link that should haunt anyone who hears it. In the months before the collapse, cracks appeared and grew. In the final days, they widened alarmingly. Management was aware. They closed the top floor and shut off the rooftop air conditioning, but they kept the store open to the public. On the morning of June 29th, the signs were undeniable. Serious cracks, a sagging slab, a booming sound from within the structure. Management held an emergency meeting. They decided not to evacuate. Closing the store for the day would mean losing a day's sales, so the doors stayed open during peak hours, while, according to investigations, executives left the building. The shoppers were not warned. The chain was complete, and the final decision had traded several hundred lives for an afternoon of revenue. Around 5:50 p.m., the overloaded 5th floor slab gave way. The weight of the restaurants and the rooftop machinery drove down through the thinned columns, and the building collapsed the way overloaded structures do. Pancaking, each floor slamming onto the one below in roughly 20 seconds. More than 500 people were killed, and over 900 injured. And then, the one thread of light in the entire story. Rescuers kept finding survivors in the rubble for days afterward. One young woman pulled out alive after more than 2 weeks trapped inside. The investigation revealed a cascade of illegal modifications and the corruption that had let them pass. Officials who had been bribed to approve changes that should never have been allowed. The chairman and others were convicted and imprisoned. South Korea overhauled its building safety and inspection laws in the aftermath, and the chain stands as one of the clearest in history. Change what the building is. Cut the columns, stack on a fifth floor, crack the roof, and when the building screams that it is dying, keep the doors open for one more afternoon of sales. 5 decisions, every one of them to make more money from the same square meters, and 20 seconds at the end to pay for all of them. Greed builds these chains. Secrecy hides them. Next time, a disaster so vast that an entire government chose to bury it and kept it secret for decades. That's the next link in the chain.